What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Healing with Kamee Podcast. I am your girl, Kamee, for those who do not know. I am an oracle intuitive reader, okay, spiritual guidance um, counselor. I am a Reiki practitioner. Okay, I am all things healing, but most importantly and above all of that, I am a mother. I am someone who is very intentional on doing the inner healing and the work, and I encourage those around me to do the same. I am very, very, very big on breaking generational cycles, right? If not for the sake of self, but for my children, right? So let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into it. If you have not done so already, please feel free to check out episodes 1, 2, and 3. They're a little lengthy, but nevertheless, there are some jewels and gems that I feel can help, or I set the intention that it helps in some way, shape, or form, even if it brings about at least one person realizing that they are not alone in this. Because healing is hard, healing is lonely. It can feel lonely, but I'm here. We here. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. But we back. Okay, back and better. Uh, so today's episode. Today's episode. Um, I think I want to talk about raising your children. Okay, raising children differently from how you were raised. Can we talk about it? Let's talk about it. When you are trying to do things differently from what you went through, baby, it will ruffle some feathers. It will ruffle some feathers. As someone who is very, very, very intentional when it comes to my children, not having to go through the same traumas that I experienced, okay? I know, let me preface this by saying, I know that I cannot shield my children from everything. I know that I can't prevent them from experiencing trauma. I also know that as intentional as I am, there are still going to be some things that I do or say or have done that will cause my children to have to do some healing in that area. I am aware of that, but I am trying to be intentional in eliminating how much healing they have to do as an adult, right? Because I know too many adults now that are trying to heal their inner child wounds and heal those things within themselves now while simultaneously trying to navigate life as an adult in this crazy world, right? Children have enough going on as is, and they are not seen often. Often they are not seen. Often they are kind of pushed into a child's place, right? So when you are trying to be intentional about doing things differently with your children and for your children, it again can ruffle some feathers. Why though? Right? I don't know about y'all, but I know when I went back and told my parents, my mom, how they treated me, or how she treated me, how she made me feel, what she used to do, what she used to say, and how it still is playing and affecting me to this day. I was gaslit. I was told, it was not like that. You don't know what you're talking about. Also, I didn't raise you good enough. All of these things, right? Just like you say, mama or daddy, whoever, okay, grandparents, whoever raised you. Just like you could sit there and tell them, y'all was beating my ass. They would sit there and tell you, you a lie. So you mean to tell me that I don't recall getting my ass whooped with that extension cord, or with that, or with that? You mean to tell me that I'm just making that shit up? You wouldn't know who whooping my ass. Oh, okay. Okay. Anyways. Anyways, they will sit there and tell you. you don't know what you're talking about, or they will gaslight you. Oh, so what, so now I didn't do good enough? Now I didn't raise you good enough? No, I'm not saying that. You raised me to the best of your abilities. You did the best you can, right? But did they? Did they really? Because when you become more intentional about how you operate, how you raise your children, and you think to yourself, if I could sit here and be intentional and recognize that I don't want to do this, this, and this towards my children, or put them in this situation, or I want to protect them from this environment or from these traumas and for these things, and you yourself are being intentional, is it really a valid statement to say they did the best they can, or could they have done a little more? I I don't know. That just came to me. You get what I'm saying? Like we justify. And in most of my episodes, you will hear that word a lot because when it comes to cycles, oftentimes what keeps us stuck in it is justification. We justify the actions of others. We justify our actions and why we keep allowing certain things to take place and whatnot, right? We justify what why we continue to deal with things that we deal with when we know that it should be differently. So to hear, to often say or be told, right? Because a lot of times you get told by family members stuff. They was the baby. They did the best they could. Did they? I don't know. Did they? Because here I am. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to be intentional. I'm trying. You get what I mean? Like, so did they really? But nevertheless, it will ruffle feathers because this is the crazy part. When you are, to me, this is the crazy part to me. When you are trying to be intentional about how you raise your children, right, and telling yourself those generational cycles stop with me. They end here. My children and my grandchildren and my great grandchildren and et cetera, will not have to go through or feel or heal from the things that I went through or I felt or that I'm healing from currently. When you choose to say it stops and ends with you, just that thought alone has already ushered in the energy of change unknowingly. So when you tell someone, I'm choosing not to hit my children, I'm choosing to gentle parent, as some call it, I'm choosing to allow for my children to express themselves and to use their voice, right? When you grew up in the time and you were raised in a time where you didn't have a voice, you could not ask questions because it was considered disrespectful or talking back, when your boundaries weren't respected, right? When you were hit, whooped, abused in some cases, disciplined nonetheless, right? When you tell people that you are choosing to do differently, it ruffles their feathers because it makes them look at themselves like, well, damn, what did I do wrong? You get what I mean? It makes them reflect on themselves, even if they are outwardly gaslighting you or telling you that you were tripping or that it wasn't like that or that it makes them look at themselves like, well, damn, hmm, what could I have done differently? Baby, right there, that feather you ruffled is already bringing about the change that you are looking forward to. Break that cycle. Okay, kudos to you, kudos to you. But no, when you are trying, it comes with a lot of judgment. It comes with a lot of judgment, but you have to stand firm on what your intentions are and how you want to raise, because they will ultimately try to come in and tell you how to raise your children, right? Which is ironic because a lot of the times I'm sure they had someone in their ear trying to tell them how to raise you, right? Okay. They will try to tell you how to raise your children. But you have to put them boundaries in place and stand firm on no. This is why I'm choosing to do this. This is why I'm not doing this. And not allowing the judgment deter you from it. Because the judgment can cause you to doubt, like, damn, am I doing something wrong? And you know damn well you ain't doing nothing wrong. You know damn well, because your intentions are so pure, that no, no, I'm not doing nothing wrong. I'm doing what is necessary to bring about change so that my children do not have to grow up trying to heal from childhood trauma and wounds while simultaneously trying to navigate this adult life that is already crazy enough, right? My kids. Whew. I grew up in a time where, like I said, you do what you told, you don't ask no questions. Don't dare say you don't want to be at so-and-so house, or you don't like this person, or this person makes you uncomfortable. How dare you try to speak and use your voice? We got told to stay in a child's place. What is a child's place? What is a child's place? Now, granted, there is you get what I mean. There's a way of saying and doing certain things that can be deemed disrespectful. Yes, you have to. That's when you have to teach them how to say it, how to express themselves, how, right? But what the hell is a child's place? When a child is just trying to find their place, I guess. But you say stay in a child's place. So because you told me I had to do this, this, and this, and I just wanted to ask, I wanted to understand, why am I having to do this, this, and this? Not because I'm trying to be a smartass, but because I'm a child and I'm trying to understand. But I get told to stay in a child's place. So now, as a child, I'm confused, silenced, feeling invalidated because I got somebody that's older than me tell me I need to stay in a child's place. Okay. I was just trying to tell you that my uncle made me feel uncomfortable. I was just trying to tell you that when I go over here, I don't feel safe. I was just trying to express to you that the things you just said to me really hurt my feelings. And I don't understand why, as your child and you claim to love me, why you would tell me something like that. I'm just trying to understand. But now I'm being told to stay in my place. But what is my place? To just be back here feeling like this, right? Trying to process what the hell, trying to process emotions and regulate my emotions that I don't even know how to do. As a child, you are expected to regulate your emotions and understand your emotions when the adults around you can't even understand and regulate their own. So, when you choose to do differently from that for your children and the ones that are used to that environment, that cycle, and operating in that manner, they will look at you. They will judge you. Some of them will say, and they would project. So you think you're better than me? So you think you're a better parent than me? No, it's not about being better. It's about being more intentional. It's about recognizing. It's about taking accountability. It's about treating my child as a human being that has feelings right? Now, while doing that and while trying to change, while simultaneously working on yourself, baby, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. It's already a challenge trying to work on yourself, getting your shit together, keeping yourself as sane as possible, right? Battling with wounds and carrying the weight of everything and everybody while still trying to pour into your children the things that were not poured into you that you are trying to learn to pour into yourself now, right? There will come with some challenges, but you gotta stand firm. Example, as someone who felt like their voice was taken away, I mentioned this before, as someone who felt like I was silenced a lot, even as an adult, until I found my voice, right? I'm very, very big on my kids feeling like their voice is respected, their voice is heard. But because they are children and they're still trying to find their way and they're still trying to understand how to navigate things as a child, right? Express themselves as children, right? There's a battle sometimes with them and within myself because there will be a situation where they are using their voice. But because they're using their voice, it is kind of causing a tug and pull with me, right? Or with other people around, my grandmother or whatever, right? And you want to tell them so bad what you used to hear all the time. Hush, shut up, stop talking back, whatever, right? Just be quiet. You don't know, right? I'm going to tell them. And they will go back and forth sometimes. And them going back and forth with me is not necessarily disrespectful. It is them literally trying to speak and find their voice and find their way and use their voice, right? They're just trying to understand. So they're questioning things. It's not that they are questioning me. It's just that they are questioning the situation because they are trying to understand because they are children. But because they are children, a part of me, right, from what I'm used to, wants to say, "Hey, stop talking back." But how dare I will not silence them like that, right? And I get told that this what you started. You want them to find their voice. You want them to use their voice. Now y'all arguing. And it ain't necessarily an argument. You know what I mean? But now look, now they they saying this and this and that. And I sit there and I will say, you know what? Yep, you're right. I'll take that. I will deal with the uncomfortableness of right now because I know that when they get older, they will not be easily silenced. And that's all that matters to me. They will not grow up having to learn how to find their voice, how to use their voice, as I'm still struggling with now. You get what I mean? They will already know. Baby, I got a voice and I'm going to use it. I can speak up for myself and for others with no hesitation because they were raised up to know that their voice mattered and that they weren't silenced. So I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'll take that. I will take that because I am creating some strong children who will know their worth, who will not have to, you will not be able to tell my children that they don't matter, that their voice doesn't matter. They will not be easily silenced by the world around them. It's okay. It's cool. Sometimes we have to be okay with removing people out of our lives and out of our children's lives who do not respect the way you are choosing to raise your children. Because if they don't respect the way you are choosing to raise your children, they ultimately do not respect you. If they are constantly trying to cross boundaries that you have set into place, they do not respect you. And if your children see that you are allowing people to constantly cross them boundaries that you have set into place, all it is teaching them that their boundaries do not matter, and I'll be damned if my children have to grow up struggling to create boundaries like I am now today. So when you are trying to do differently and you get knocked down by people's projections, people's judgment, people telling you you ain't doing this right and you ain't doing that right, stand on your beliefs, stand in your truth, stand in your intentions, okay? And stand on your boundaries. Don't let anybody deter you from trying to break that cycle. Because when you are trying to break a cycle, those that are still stuck in the cycle don't want the cycle broken ultimately, because once that cycle is broken, what the hell is next, right? It causes so much change that people are not aware of or not willing to face sometimes. It ruffles them feathers. Baby, ruffle them motherfucking feathers. Ruffle their feathers and spread your wings. Okay? Shake your feathers and let them be seen. Because what? Like, when you are dealing with adults, right, who have helped raise you or have watched you grow up, or who raised you in general, your parents or whatever, when you are dealing with them, and even in the community, just anybody around, when their views are different from yours, it is so easy to get pulled into the negativity that they project, to where you start doubting if you are doing what you should be doing. But you have every reason to feel, think, and believe the way you feel, think, and believe, right? Another example, as someone who was, as someone who experienced a lot of the trauma I experienced, it is very important to me to allow my children to express to me who makes them feel, to have a choice, to have a say, right? If my children don't want to go to somebody's house, you don't have to. Me, on the other hand, we used to be forced to go. You gonna know you going to so and so's house. You gonna get over it. You gonna be there, no matter. It ain't. They not asking what the reason is as to why you don't want to be there, right? That could be a situation that makes you uncomfortable. That could be a situation that has caused trauma. Whatever. You just might not feel like it. Whatever the case, right? You didn't have a say. No, if my children don't want to be around someone, I'm taking heed. I'm asking why you don't want to be around that person. Why you don't want to go over there? Why you don't want to, you know what I mean? As someone who grew up being forced to hug people I didn't want to hug, or even speak to people I didn't want to speak to, because it was found to be disrespectful. No. If my child does not want to hug you, I don't care who you are. If my child does not want to hug you, do not force my child to hug you. Do not condemn them or chastise them because they don't want to hug you. And if that's a problem, but you're gonna respect the fact that my child don't want to hug you. My child don't what? No. And then I'm gonna look at you upside your head, and I'm gonna try to figure out, and I'm gonna ask my child, why you don't want to hug that person? Why you don't want to be around them? You good? Not necessarily saying that something has to have happened, but for all I know, my child senses that you got ill intentions. My child senses that you got an attachment, sees an attachment on you, and they want no parts of that. I refuse. Right? Stand on that shit. Stand on that shit. Because at the end of the day, you are raising your children, and your children are helping you. Your children are showing you parts of yourself that you need to heal and work on. Your children are showing you parts of yourself that you have healed and worked on. Because they're showing up in a different way, because you are giving them something that you did not have. Because you can see in them your your wishes and desires and things that your inner child wish they had, wish they received. Your inner child is connecting with your children because you are showing up for your children. You are showing up for your inner child, and that is bringing about healing within yourself that you don't even recognize. Right? People be like, "My kids test me." I say it all the time. Y'all testing me. These kids is testing me. Yeah, you damn right they testing you. You damn right. Are you gonna pass that test? Huh? Because you say you're trying to do things differently. You say you're trying to break this cycle. So you gonna pass that test? You damn right they testing you. You damn right. You said you wanted me to use my voice, mama. You said you wanted me to use my voice, daddy. So boom, here come a test. You gonna beat my ass about it, or you gonna embrace it? And it don't be malice. They're children. It don't be malice. Now, if you feel like it is disrespectful, how they come in and be like, hey, hold on, slow your roll. You coming off a little hot. Let's figure out how we can express what you want to express in a more respectful manner. Right? And what is that doing? That is teaching them how to effectively use their voice. Because I get told all the time, at this grown ass age that I am, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And sometimes I don't be giving a damn how it came off. Because you heard me. And that ain't always the case, right? That ain't always the case. But I get told all the time, you thinking negative, or it's not how you, not what you say, how it's how you say it. And I just be like, or it's just how you heard it. It's just how you heard it. Hear it differently. Because that's not, you get, and that ain't right. But like I said, they be testing me. They be testing us. I'm still working on myself. I can acknowledge that, right? I can acknowledge that. So ultimately, this episode is just to say, and it's just to reassure you that you are doing what you need to do. No matter how hard it seems, no matter how challenging, no matter how much judgment or projection, gaslighting, or whatever that you get when it comes to your kids, baby, if you got to cut everybody off to protect you and your kids' peace, do that. Do that. Because I promise you, you would just be making room for the village that is in alignment with you, that will help you raise your children in the way that you want to help them to be raised, in the way that you want to raise them up. And when it comes to other family members, they either gonna get on board or they're gonna get left behind. But you're not gonna sacrifice your children's upbringing to satisfy somebody else, right? Who had the opportunity to do things differently with you and chose not to. And we just justify it by saying they did the best they can. But when you look at yourself, you can say, well, if that was the best they could do, I guess. Because here it is, I'm showing up for mine. No matter how hard it is, I'm showing up for them in a manner that is ultimately me doing the best that I can for the betterment of my children. Right? But what I can see from other people and from myself, we deal with we deal with a lot of narcissistic energy, right? And that is something that is very big in the cycle when in keeping the cycles going. Because with narcissism comes gaslighting, projection, right? They cause you to doubt yourself and what you are doing, right? A lot of judgment. So when you are not that or you are trying not to be that, it will cause problems. And that's okay because that's what brings about the change. And sometimes in order to break those cycles, somebody got to get left the fuck behind. Not everybody can move forward with you, especially those that created the cycle or those that are okay with being in the cycle and staying in the cycle, even when they recognize that they are in that cycle. That's why generational shit be happening. Generation after generation after generation. Because people be like, it's too much work to break this cycle. It ain't even that it's too much work. It's really the same amount of work. You just got to be intentional and ignore the judgment or face the judgment. Whatever. Stand on your truth. Stand on your boundaries. For example, I'm not going out my way to maintain any relationship with adults for my children. If you do not show up for my children, if you do not actively show my children you want to be in their life, you will not be in their life. The fuck? I look like chasing motherfuckers to be in my kids' life, to love on my kids. I'ma love on them. And they gon' know who's there for them and who wasn't. You get what I mean? Because I hate the narrative that kids don't understand. Kids don't understand. But they can if you help them understand. If you genuinely guide them or you talk to them, you communicate with them in a manner in which it is they are able to understand, they will understand. But a lot of times these children be understanding better than the adults. These children nowadays be more emotionally aware of what the fuck is going on because they see what is going on than the adults that's in the situations themselves. I don't lie to my kids. I am very open with my kids when it comes to certain dynamics and relationships that they have. I don't see the point in sugarcoating and lying to them when they just gonna get older and see the truth if they not already seeing the truth. I want them to be able to understand and recognize what they are seeing from these connections. I don't want my children to be able to be gaslit by grandma, grandpa, uncle, whoever, cousins, whoever. I don't want that. When they go, you will not gaslight my children. I'm not going to help you gaslight my children. And I'm not going to protect your image by lying to my children. And that is okay. That is okay. Because those same people that you might want to protect their image have no issue slandering yours, discrediting yours. Telling motherfuckers she thinks or they think they better because they want to do this, this, and this with their kids. What the hell? What's so wrong about being better? Yes, I think I'm better because I want my kids to know their voice matters. You damn Skippy. If that's me thinking I'm better than you, god damn it, I am. But shouldn't you want your children to be better than you? Ain't that the point? You raise them up so that they can be the better version of you and the best version of themselves. I'm just rambling on at this point. Nevertheless, the point of this episode is to just speak life into you. Keep going. Keep showing up for yourself. Keep showing up for your children. They see it. They need it. It is necessary. Okay? They recognize it even if they don't acknowledge it. But I can guarantee that if you are cultivating that type of relationship with your children, they are acknowledging it. They are pushing you through while you are pulling them with you. Baby, you are important. Continue to do the work on yourself because you matter. Continue to be intentional. And just remember and trust that every minor step that you make, any minor change, still adds to the bigger picture, right? It's still creating and bringing about the energy of healing and change. Keep your intentions pure and genuine and authentic. And know that you got this. Shit ain't easy. It don't come with a manual. And even if it did, 9 times out of 10, we ain't reading. Because who read manuals and who read instructions? Not off the bat, we don't. Put some shit together just off the rip, looking at the shit. We don't pull that manual out until we got an extra screw that we need to figure out where it goes. No, but I express gratitude for you showing up and for sharing this space with me. Thank you for listening to me and my rant. Hopefully something I said helped. Makes you feel better, makes you feel seen, makes you feel like you are not alone, right? So I send love, I send light, I send peace y'all way. Blessings be upon y'all. If you need any type of spiritual guidance, readings, Reiki sessions, okay, all my details will be in the description box below. I am doing distance Reiki at the moment. It is still as powerful as me laying my hands on you and doing Reiki, okay? It's still as powerful. But if you need anything, if you just need somebody to listen to you, hit me up. I will create space for you because we all need that. Healing is lonely. Healing is hard, but healing is worth it. And as lonely as it might feel, as dark as it may seem sometimes, there are always moments that make you realize it is all worth the work that you are putting in. And although it feels lonely, you do have community. I am community. This podcast, this space that I'm trying to cultivate and I am working on cultivating is community. You are not alone. I send my love to you. Thank you again for tuning in. Catch you at the next episode. Mwah.